Hey, it's Tucker Carlson. You often hear people say the news is full of lies, but most of the time that's not exactly right. Much of what you see on television or read the New York Times is in fact true in the literal sense. It could pass one of the media's own fact checks. Lawyers would be willing to sign off on it. In fact, they may have. But that doesn't make it true. It's not true. At the most basic level, the news you consume is a lie of the stealthiest and most insidious kind. Facts have been withheld on purpose, along with proportion and perspective. You are being manipulated. How does that work? Let's see. If I tell you that a man has been unjustly arrested for armed robbery, that is not, strictly speaking, a lie. He may have been framed. At this point, there's been no trial, so no one can really say. But if I don't mention the fact that the same man has been arrested for the same crime 6 times before, am I really informing you? No, I'm not. I'm misleading you. And that's what the news media are doing in every story that matters, every day of the week, every week of the year. What's it like to work in a system like that? After more than 30 years in the middle of it, we could tell you stories. The best you can hope for in the news business at this point is the freedom to tell the fullest truth that you can. But there are always limits. And you know that if you bump up against those limits often enough, you will be fired for it. That's not a guess, it's guaranteed. Every person who works in English language media understands that. The rule of what you can't say defines everything. It's filthy, really, and it's utterly corrupting. You can't have a free society if people aren't allowed to say what they think is true. Speech is the fundamental prerequisite for democracy. That's why it's enshrined in the first of our constitutional amendments. Amazingly, as of tonight, there aren't many platforms left that allow free speech. The last big one remaining in the world, the only one, is Twitter, where we are now. Twitter has long served as the place where our national conversation incubates and develops. Twitter is not a partisan site. Everybody's allowed here, and we think that's a good thing. And yet, for the most part, the news that you see analyzed on Twitter comes from media organizations that are themselves thinly disguised propaganda outlets. You see it on cable news, you talk about it on Twitter. The result may feel like a debate, but actually the gatekeepers are still in charge. We think that's a bad system. We know exactly how it works, and we're sick of it. Starting soon, we'll be bringing a new version of the show we've been doing for the last 6.5 years to Twitter. We'll be bringing some other things too, which we'll tell you about. But for now, we're just grateful to be here. Free speech is the main right that you have. Without it, you have no others. See you soon.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in and welcome back. As you've probably seen by now, Tucker Carlson is back. I think deep down we all knew he wouldn't be gone for too long. We just weren't sure how long it would be. After being ousted at Fox News, we would assume, we don't know the ins and outs of his contract, but we would assume that there would be some form of a non-compete clause in there that would essentially, to use baseball terms, DFA him and have him stay at home and be paid the remaining portion of his contract without being able to go and essentially compete on another network or with another company doing whatever. However, the curious thing about this is that for most media personalities, whether that be Fox, CNN, NBC, you name them, their Twitter account is usually not part of their contract, unless it's specifically written in. But more often than not, it is not. So we're able to kind of see how Tucker Carlson can skirt around the non-compete clause and still be able to work and produce some form of a show and still try to remain active while carrying out the rest of his contract with Fox. As of today, May 10th, that video on Twitter that he posted has been viewed 112 million times. So we're about 28 hours or so since it was posted, and he's already up to 112 million views. So if he gets even a fraction of those running some form of a Twitter show, I'd say he's still doing pretty well, and he can more than likely get ad revenue from it, and promote products and things like that, should he need to, although he is very wealthy, and I'm sure that, he wouldn't need to debase the show in that particular way. However, just a little note on what his lawyers have been saying. They put out a statement today, also claiming that Fox News breached their contract with him. And again, just to reiterate, it's Fox News more than likely has nothing to do with his Twitter account or has any kind of control over it, but they likely put that out just to cover all their bases and make sure that Fox didn't, send their own breach of contract over to him. This is all coming in the wake of all the Media Matters leaks over the past week and a half or so that have kind of just helped Tucker, to be honest. They've kind of made him seem like a regular guy. He's in the chair. He's jovial. He's joking around with his production crew, talking a little shit, and just being kind of just a regular dude. And taking away from the big bad white supremacist that folks like CNN and NBC and everybody else, every kind of like left-leaning alternative media platform has painted him as for the past 5 or 6 years. So that's curious to watch, and I think that overall that's going to help get either a lot of major Tucker fans to go and follow him over to Twitter. It's probably going to get some disaffected liberals that are kind of sick of everything and might find a particular kinship with Tucker and his kind of no-nonsense approach to the truth. And it'll, wrangle up several other groups of people. And should be something to look out for on Twitter. But we'll see what happens there. I know that it's coming soon, so there's no date to that yet, but something to look forward to for sure. I did want to include one of those Media Matters leaks, just because it's fun, and we get to kind of see a different side of him, the side that we only really get to see on, typically non-Fox programming. Back when he was on the Full Send podcast, he was pretty upfront and joking and pretty relatable overall, and that's what these leaks are kind of portraying. So definitely taking away from the evil Tucker Carlson point of view that has kind of been painted on him for so long. But anyways, here's that clip.
Oh, I said she tried to get, I was like, she's got a lot of liberals working over there. And, they see this as war. And we're the main force on the other side. And that's crazy. If you've got pronouns in your Twitter bio, you shouldn't work here. Because we can't trust you because you're on the other side. And she goes, well, who? And I said, I'm not going to name names because I don't know who did it. And I'm definitely not going to cast aspersions on someone unfairly. Just because you're liberal doesn't mean you did this. It does mean you shouldn't work here. And Roger would never put up with this shit. Why would you do that? Do you know what I mean? They see this as war. It's like, I'm not that. I'm an actual liberal. I'm totally fine being like, our makeup artist is like a screaming lefty. No, but I'm not that way, as you know, but they are that way. And I said, I'm not ashamed of anything I said.
You now look like you recently had COVID.
I
you
did.
look fresh-faced and healthy.
But do you know what I mean, Justin?
I know.
If you've got that horrible guy who was just horrible, who was Judge Janine's guy, I couldn't. Yeah, that guy is like a screaming left-wing lunatic. Why does he work here? What?
So let me know what you guys think. Will you be watching the new Tucker show on Twitter? Will you be following that at all? Do you not care? Do you just want to see what Fox replaces him with? Let me know in the comments. And if you wouldn't mind liking the video and subscribing, that would be incredibly helpful. And remember, as always, be bold, be brave. Courage is contagious. See you in the next one.